Second, just remember, say this, this one is, I'm going to admit, this is really hard for me. So maybe repeat after me. I can't do it myself. Can you say that with me? I can't do it myself. Let's do that one more time. I can't do it myself. Every time Abraham was getting in that spot where he thought, I'm doing pretty good, I'm pretty strong and faithful, and I can do it myself, that's when he messed up. Right? Remember, faith is a gift, and I can't do it by myself. And when that becomes obvious, and it usually becomes obvious I can't do it myself when I mess up, or when something really challenging in life happens and I'm feeling really weird about it, remember this. Remember that even in those times when I'm feeling weak or doubting or wondering, that just like with Abraham, God is still there. That God is still there, and God is still good, and that God still has my best interest at heart. Remember, the power of faith is in God, not in me. Faith doesn't do great things because we're so great. Faith does great things because it accesses the power of a great God. Faith's like a conduit. You ever lay like some pipeline in your backyard for irrigation or something? You got a little bitty pipeline, you get a little bit of stuff in. You get a bigger pipeline, you get more stuff through. But the pipeline just enables you to get the stuff. Right? Water, electricity, whatever it is that's coming through the pipeline. Faith is like that pipeline. It allows you to access the power of God, the strength of God, the heart of God, the forgiveness of God when you mess up. It's like a hand that just receives God's blessings, and God is the one who takes the hand and puts it out there. So that's the first place. Remember that. Now, here's the second thing. Work on this. Because there is a part to faith you can work on. Because if you got a conduit that's this big, you get this much stuff through. If you got a conduit that's this big, you get a whole lot more stuff through, right? Now the stuff we're getting is the power of God, the strength of God, the wisdom of God, the heart of God, the forgiveness. I want a lot of that stuff. So now we're back to the beginning. You work on building that strength. So to work on that, you do things like, you do read Bible, and you do pray, and you do go to church, and you do talk Bible with other people, and you do give, and you do serve. And then thank God daily for the gift of faith. You can wake up every day and say, God, thank you for the faith you put in my heart. Thank you for that gift. Thank you for the people in my life that are helping to strengthen and nurture my faith. And then do this. In fact, if you do only one thing from today's message, do this. Build yourself a Bible promises list. It doesn't have to be 50 promises. 1, 2, 3. A Bible promises go-to list. Because what did Abraham, when he was wavering, what did God do? He called him back to remember what he'd said, what he'd done, the promises. Now sometimes God actually showed up and said, Abraham, right? That's why we go to church, to hear God show up and tell us what his promises are. But there were other times, and we're going to see this next week as we come back, and I'm going to talk to you next week about the third big rock, grace. We're going to Abraham's story again to talk about that. It's Abraham and Isaac, and what happened when Isaac grew up. And Abraham there is going to go back and hold to a very specific, he's going to remember something God said. And it's going to help him get through a really, really tough time. And keep on believing in God even when what God was saying didn't seem to make any sense at all. Guys, you can do the same thing. All right? Build yourself a Bible promises list. We were talking family growth groups last night, and a couple people, or Friday, and a couple people were saying things like, man, what I hold on to is, I will never leave you or forsake you. Somebody else said, I remember, I am with you always. Somebody else said, I will, as far as the east is from the west, so far will I remove your sins from me. Find 1 or 2 or 3 things that are like your go-to list, so that when you're in that space of, I'm wondering and I'm worrying and I'm afraid and I don't, does God really love me? Is what God's saying going to come true? God wants you to have hope. Right? And God wants to encourage you and lift you up. And it's those promises of God that's going to do it for you, just like it did for Abraham. I encourage you to do that, and then to come back next week to hear the story of God's grace. Thanks for being here today as we dug in this second big rock.